Hey everyone, welcome to Mailroom. How are you feeling?
Pretty good.
Very good.
Thank you so much for having us, Mindy.
Great, of course.
Thank you for having us.
Now, I'm going to have each one of you go around, introduce yourself with your name, age, what you do, and the type of guy that you are in dating. Like, are you a nice guy? Are you the smooth guy? Are you the dapper guy, the chest hair guy? We don't know. We want to know. Let's start with this bachelor.
Here we go. Okay. Jan Rosner, thank you, Mindy, for having me. I'm 44. I'm from Germany originally. I'm an entrepreneur and in tech. And what kind of guy? I'm the direct guy.
A direct guy. We like that.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Direct,
right.
And I think I'll leave it at that. Let's see what comes.
I'm Duncan. I'm 35. I am creative director of video for a media agency. And what was it? What kind of guy am I dating?
What type of guy are you in?
What kind of guy are you dating?
I think, what kind of guy am I dating? He's big, he's tall, he's handsome.
Introduce us.
I think I'm a nice guy.
Yeah.
I think I'm fairly confident and outgoing, and I try my best to be honest.
Try your best, to be honest. Right?
I try my best.
Very good.
I try my best.
There's a little room for error, but not much.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Okay, so my name is JW. I mean, it's just easier for Americans, right? I
Yeah,
mean, 'cause,
yeah.
you know, it's JW because the last and first name is a little bit long. I'm age 38, work in tech, entrepreneurial basis. So I mean, like it's very adventurous at times. And what type of guy? For me, I don't know. I'm trying. Like the older I get, the more I try to be myself. Also when it comes to dating, also when it comes to it's actually unisex. I mean, even with my friends, with my family, with my business partners, with women that I go out with, I'm just trying to be closest to myself and also step away from people that don't really understand who I am.
My first question is because you guys are from all over. So basically sitting here with two sausages from Germany, and then we have a British bloke. I want to know what do you guys think about American girls and dating here?
In general?
Yeah, American ladies, what's your take?
Well, in New York it's a little bit different, right? You have a lot of exposure to other European ladies, and so there's a lot of that.
We have some of those, yes, we do.
But definitely you run into more Europeans here as well, I would say. It's very rare actually that I run into American girls or women that I date. But the occasional comes along. So I think also because they live in New York, they like the European vibe more, and so in that case, or in that tent, they also behave a little bit more European, right? I do have to say, I don't have a lot of experience with dating true American, as you probably would say, like from the Midwest or something, right? I think that's what you're hinting towards. And
I'm from the Midwest.
Here you go. See?
Yeah.
But you also
That's the best.
yeah, it's a great environment.
Thank
but
you.
you also give
Tell
away
me.
more of a European vibe.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I think American girls get a bad rap, if I'm totally honest.
Okay.
Like being British, I've got lots of British friends who live in New York and lots of British friends who've moved here and then moved home because they were like, oh, I'm probably never going to marry an American girl, and kind of blanket American girls with some sort of negative connotation for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And it's probably, honestly, just like a snobbish European thing. But moving here, I've only lived here for a year and a bit, I think the exact opposite. I think American girls are great, so fun, lots of like super smart, great girls. So I think they get a tough rap, these New York ladies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let all your friends know. What's your take?
You know, I think there's the distinction is to be made between like international and like not as much exposure. In my opinion, for what I encounter in New York, it's very international. And I don't really think it matters like where you're coming from, whether you're like American or European or from anywhere else in the world. I think if you have a lot of international exposure, I think it's a certain type of communication. If you don't have as much, then it's a different type of communication.
Yeah.
But it's both equally good, right? I'm just
Right.
thinking like the people that I run into New York, in New York City are very international, so I don't think it makes that much of a difference.
Yeah. American ladies might have some moves too that the European ladies may not. So might be.
Well, I mean, New York is definitely advanced.
Yes.
You know,
advanced.
when it comes to communication and moves. Yeah.
So for the Jays here, what is dating in Germany like?
Dating in Germany. I actually had this conversation just recently, so it's absolutely on point. It's very different from what I remember, and I've been here now for 12 years, and also from what I was just told. So this lady I just met at a dinner who came from Germany, who was younger, so she had a recent experience, said that in Germany it's not so much of like dating around, and I think she's from a place, she's from Frankfurt, where I'm from. That might be different in Berlin, for example, but like Frankfurt or more like other cities than Berlin, you have this experience of, oh, I like you, let's go out on a date, and then if I like you more, let's be boyfriend and girlfriend. There's not like I date 5 people at the same time and then I
like
make
that.
a choice. It's completely
Get me to
different.
Germany.
Very different to here.
Very different to
Yeah.
here.
So you would commit that early on, and it's just one person.
According to her, so I
Okay.
don't really have a lot of that
Gotta
experience
go.
from the
Is
West.
that
to
because there's
Germany.
less
I don't know,
people to a smaller pool? So if you meet someone you like, it's like, oh my god, amazing. Whereas
This
here,
might
the pool's
be
enormous.
exactly the reason why, because it's the same. So Berlin, where it's a big pool, dating
Yeah.
pool, it's similar to New York, like where you are dating across
So
the
you're
board.
talking outskirts of.
It feels like every other
Berlin.
city in Germany is like a village, right?
Yeah,
You're feeling,
yeah.
finding your village queen or your village king, and then you stick with them.
Now, what is dating a German guy like?
I don't know. I never dated one.
I mean, if you're a girl, are German men, are they good communicators? Are they very chivalrous? Are they not?
It really depends. I
Okay.
think it's like
As a culture, though,
It
there's
goes
not
by.
a-
It's a city. It goes by
Yeah.
cities, right? I mean, so if you go to Berlin, they probably like electronic music a lot, which means like long nights, you know, going out a lot.
Yeah.
So they're very used to that. I mean, if you go to the more like local parts, I mean, it's a case by case situation. Yeah.
Okay. Now take us to the UK.
It's not like mildly different from here,
Okay.
but I do think there are some differences. I think here, as a guy, the pool is a lot wider of girls that want to date you. Like, for example, here, there's much younger girls who want to date older guys, whereas in the UK, that's not the case as much at all. Like,
Interesting.
in the UK, I'm 35. If I was dating someone who was 25, people would think that was like really weird. In New York, people think that's like totally normal. And also these younger girls want to date older guys, which younger girls in the
Why
UK...
do you think? For that
I
cash?
think because New York's expensive.
Right.
And they want someone maybe who can not stress about buying dinner. And realistically, a 24-year-old guy straight out of college who's
Right.
sharing with 6 roommates in a tiny apartment might find it difficult.
Now, for all of you, do you find that your accents are a competitive advantage?
100%.
For the Brits, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And what
For
about
the Germans,
you
I
guys?
don't
Surely
think
for
so.
yours, no?
Not the German, not so much.
Do you
It makes
ever
you stand
like?
out.
Oh, it definitely makes you stand out. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Do you
for
ever
sure.
try to make your accent thicker, like just to be like, "Oh yes, darling," or whatever, just so like you can
To fake
close
it,
faster?
to fake a British accent. I don't think
I don't know what that was, but-
anywhere in my life anyone has ever said to me, "Can you please talk dirty German to me?" Has never happened, or in a German accent.
This could be a first on the show, but you do find the accent gets you to convert fast.
I think it just instantly gives people something to talk to you about.
Sure.
Say I approach a girl and I'm like, oh, hi, how you doing? What's your name? 9 times out of 10, their next question will be like, oh my God, are you English? And then they'll have questions. So you're instantly into a conversation about something rather than like, oh, you're just hitting on me or we're just two strangers. It doesn't like, this is what I've told some American friends of mine, because they were like, you and your British accent, you can just like open your mouth and a girl's gonna like fall into bed with you, which is honestly not the case. You still have to be like nice and interesting, but it opens the window, but you still have to climb through.
Okay.
Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Very
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
Totally concur. It is definitely, it's still hitting on her, but you're doing it with riz, right? In this case, with an accent.
Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree. I never put so much thought into it. I also never thought about changing it.
I just remembered something. This was a while ago, but I have had American girls think I'm faking my accent in order to try and
Really?
I
Did it
remember
work?
when I was visiting, I was talking to a girl in a bar, and halfway through she was like, "This is bullshit. you're clearly not English. And I had to show her my British driving license to prove
Oh, wow.
I was British.
And then did it work?
I can't
Where did you guys end
remember. No comment, no comment.
All right, so yeah, I want to ask you this to start. What do men think that women want?
I mean, there's obviously a full spectrum, right? So in the majority of cases that I've encountered, I think the majority of women still is looking for a relationship, but you have the same amount of women, maybe not the same amount, but a good amount of women that are also just looking for a hookup, just a nice night. They're focused on their careers, they want to do what they came here for, and just build their career, and then also want to be with somebody on a regular basis maybe, or on an occasional basis. So that's definitely the case. That's something that I experienced here in the city more than I experienced it in Germany. 100%. That's definitely a New York thing, or maybe, major city thing. It is, but still the case, you have women that are looking for a relationship, long-term relationship. It's kind of like tough, what we talked about earlier, right? When you're finding yourself in this age gap. So what is it that I want? How long do I want this? And then is this person also going to end up, being with me for long term, right? So that's the question here. What are the intentions on both sides? Maybe it's just for the ride, for that short amount.
Unintended.
I think that's so true. I think there's two pools. There's the pool who are much more open to having something casual, or there's the other side where New York's such a crazy place and people are dating people so much that as soon as I meet someone I like, I want to move from like 0 to 100. Let's start a relationship right now.
So do you dodge that conversation from the beginning and just try to see how long you can get to know someone, or do you lead with what are your intentions, and so there's not gray area and...
Oh, it's basically like a checklist in the beginning of the date?
No, not a checklist. Actually, just if you don't want something serious, do you tell the person, like, this is where I'm at, where are you at, or do you want to avoid that?
I think this is what I said earlier when I said I'm a direct person when it comes to dating. I definitely highlight what I want and what I don't want, right? I think it's, this is where the difference comes into somebody who's just dating, or a fuckboy. Fuckboy will tell you anything you want to get in bed with you. And I think for a straight up, full, direct person, direct man that has some integrity, it's all about telling the other person, so what are you looking for? And the majority, so for myself, I could see myself end up in a relationship, but that's not what I'm looking for right now. But I date because I eventually want to end up in a relationship. But I have priorities in my life right now where my business has top priority. I like to be around my friends, that has a huge top priority, and family. And then I'm seeing women, I'm dating women, and if there's somebody amongst them that I like to stick around with, then that might be an option, right? That's not the intention. My goal is not like, okay, I need to date to find a girl to live my life with.
Yeah. Any thoughts, JW?
I think a good question everybody should be asking themselves is like, why am I here? What am I doing? Why am I talking to this person? What's my intention, I don't think most people do it.
And the intention could be just sex, right? As long as everybody is aware of that and agrees on that, and then that's fine.
But I think there is an interesting point about when that gets brought up in conversation.
Right.
I feel like on first dates, screw the checklist.
Yeah.
Like a first date should be about, do I vibe with this person? Do we have a fun time? And it's about kind of the feeling of just having fun with that person. And then only after that, if you do, then do you want to get into if you're compatible and if you want the same things. Yeah. I think if you're going in date one and you're sitting down and you're being like, oh, what would you like to drink? And also, by the way, I only want to sleep with you. I don't want a relationship with you. Like, good luck. You've got to be honest at a certain point once you realize what it is you're after.
That actually,
it's a tricky one.
Yeah, 100%. And obviously, this is your interview or your session here, but I would love to hear, maybe in another conversation, what a first date looks for you guys. Like, how do you set this up?
Like what you do on a first date?
What you do on a first date.
What do you guys do on a first date?
JW, take it away, my friend.
Thank you very much. No, for me, I don't know. Like, very easy, just like meet somebody somewhere casually. Can be at a coffee shop, or can be over drinks. I think honestly, like my opinion, and I mean, like I've been doing it extensively for 8 years in the city, and then before, like in Europe. I mean, I think after 5 minutes, like when you speak to somebody, whether that's going to progress or not.
So
I think, and then everything after that, especially if it's like an app date, I think everything after 5 minutes, it's just like
So So it's even more efficient to do that, like a coffee or a happy hour. So then you don't have the long dinner. And
Yeah, I think there's also another, I mean, this is maybe going to be a little bit controversial.
Oh, bring it.
I also know a lot of friends who are girls who would make jokes. Oh yeah, I went on a date with this guy because I wanted a nice dinner.
Oh, for sure. That's not a joke. This is
It's 100% serious. And I also feel like it instantly sets this unlevel playing field. It's the guy who's responsible for like arranging the date and figuring out what to do, and then it's probably the guy's responsibility to pay for that date. And so by the time you've even got there, the guy has had to do a lot.
Okay, if you I have a question. Take the dinner.
Totally
on
for
it.
equal opportunity.
A guy saying the first thing and a guy making a plan. Are those things difficult? Is that like, from a girl's standpoint, I would like the guy to do that. And I think over time it's gotten to be with Bumble and these other ones that guys can also sit back and say like, talk to me, do this. And then oftentimes from our standpoint, the guys will say like, well, what do you want to do on a first date?
Yeah,
You don't
So
want
I
to
think
hear
a
that.
guy should always
yeah.
like.
But that's an indicator already for you too.
But the dinner thing, the other half of the girls that I know don't want to go to a dinner with someone they're not interested in for a free dinner. They'd rather go with their friends. They can pay their own way. So I think I've definitely heard that too.
You know, I'll try for exactly these reasons to rather meet during the day for just a coffee, for example, like a walk in the park, because I also want to meet you, right? I want to meet the person. I want to talk to the person, not just like overshadow everything with a dinner or cover it up or change the perception or something like that. Make it like a lavish experience, right? Rather you and me, we talk. If we like each other, we can then maybe meet each other again for a dinner.
Yeah,
But having
yeah.
that coffee moment, tea moment, whatever.
I was on a date recently and we were sitting across from each other and the guy was, after a while, was like, can I come sit next to you? And I was like, yeah, sure. And it was like, it just changed the whole dynamic because
It feels so much more of an interview
it
if
was
you're
just
sitting
like normal
opposite
and
someone on a table.
Yeah. So even like going somewhere or doing something like that without it being so formal could be a good idea. But put that one in your back pocket, guys. Okay, we're gonna jump into text translation. So I'm gonna read you guys a text that a girl has received that one of our coveted listeners or viewers has sent to us. So I'll read you the text and then give me your perspective. I'm gonna play the role of the guy first and then the girl. Hey,
Is that the girl?
hey, that's the that's the guy. Looking forward to tonight. This is my first date with an American girl. Here's the menu in advance, too. By the way, I'm not Dutch, but believe in going Dutch. Ha. Wanted to let you know just in case you do a fake out and start digging for your wallet. Ha. Do you think this is a delicacy or a cultural thing?
Wait, you have to repeat for me.
The-
What
the-
is
Hold
going
on,
Dutch
hold on.
mean?
Going
again?
Dutch
It's like
is splitting.
Splitting the bill.
Splitting.
Yeah,
So he
But then
censored the
but then he
menu.
said,
But
don't
if
go
you
digging
don't
for your
go for
wallet.
digging for your wallet.
No, like doing the fake out,
Oh,
like
as in
you're
like,
looking,
oh, let me
like
just-
actually
wait,
whip it out.
wait.
Yeah, because
Okay.
he wanted to tell her in advance that he was splitting the bill. What's your take?
What's the take? Ugh, Jesus Christ. So I think if I invite you to something, then I pay, right? That's clear. If we are meeting up as friends or something, you know, in the sort for long term or something like that, then there's definitely also the option for splitting the bill.
Yeah.
I think that should be normal, right? A contribution from both sides. But if I'm inviting you to go on a date, then and this is weird. This is like setting this up like
It's
that.
a weird way to set it up beforehand.
Completely weird. Yeah.
I agree.
I would be wary.
But-
Wary.
No, I'm
the
with my
finger
man
up
here.
in
Team Jan. But yeah, I feel like I need to know the circumstances. Say she's been like, oh, I'd love to grab dinner with you.
Right.
And he suggests that. I mean, firstly, what he's done is weird.
Yeah.
But if they were to split the bill, I wouldn't think that was crazy. For example, a girl asked me once to go for a drink, and we went for a drink, and then she suggested we grab some food, and we split the bill.
Okay.
Perfect, fine.
Yeah. What do you think, JW?
I wouldn't go on the date. I think
With
it's
him?
very weird. I mean, like, I don't
It
know.
is
It's just like, it
weird.
just feels weird. I don't know. I completely agree with the two.
Setting it
of you.
up too
Yeah.
much beforehand.
No, and like this,
Like the
it's just
language
like, it
they
just
use.
sounds weird. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, well, this next one has an LOL, so I don't know how you guys feel about that. But, hello. So what's your love language? Mine is touch.
Wait, are these like the first interactions that they have, or is this just like it's not making
I
these weird
also, I
accents?
love how there's literally like zero content
This is
to any of
real.
these
Wait,
messages.
these are like either they've been on a first date. This is not like a boyfriend. This is
No,
either
no,
they
well,
just
that's-
met or
This is part of their courting.
yeah. This is like very initial
courting,
early
okay.
courting. More importantly, do you prefer communication or transparency?
So it was my love language is touch,
Right.
and then do you prefer communication or transparency?
Yeah.
The weird thing is like or.
Aren't they similar?
like-
these
yeah.
are old. Yeah, actually, they are pretty similar.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
She said she wrote neither. Just did it like
Don't
that.
worry. On your side, on your team side, very, very weird text as well. Don't worry about that. We can flip
Do you
this around
have
the
one
next
that
time.
stands out?
Not off the top of my head right now, but I can definitely do
I
that.
also guarantee the message he got before from her was, what is your love language?
Maybe quality time. I mean, nothing's wrong with touch, obviously.
So-
But maybe she was trying to get a little deeper, but then he
He's
took
talking
it
about
real
holding
deep.
hands, Mindy. He's
Yeah,
not talking
there's
about
no
anything
need to
else.
get
I don't know
good
what
Yeah,
touch in the
right,
middle
blow
of
your
curves.
mind.
Yeah, sure. There's no grudge touching. What's the part of the last part again?
Do you prefer transparency or communication?
I see where he's going with this. He's telling her his love language, physical touch.
Right.
And then he's asking her, do you want transparency? And if she says yes, the next message he'll send is more sexual.
A dick pic.
The real
Do you
deal.
want to know how I read it? I thought he was saying like that he's married or something. Like, do you want me to
When did you-
communicate or be transparent? Like,
When
tell
did you
you
pick
that I
up-
have a double life. I
When
don't
did you
know.
pick
I've been
up that-
scorned.
Or maybe he's just like, yeah.
Where did you pick up that?
In my brain. I just thought it was weird. Transparency is
Oh yeah,
like,
no, it's definitely
what are you
weird.
hiding? I have a different question for you. So that was the text translations. I'm going to ask you two more questions, and then we're going to get into the last segment. So next question is, what is your point of view on gender roles at the moment?
My personal opinion on this is that the role of the man, however you define the man in specific, means that there is a need for a caretaker, but not in the traditional sense of just like paying for everything. But I think despite the trends that we've seen over the last years probably, that women are interested in men that can take care of them, also defend them for whatever reasons, meaning like the physical appearance is important to them, but also confidence is the most important of these parts, right? So I think that is my recommendation also for any man. Confidence is key, and also just in communication, just not trying to be someone who you're not, what we said in the beginning, very transparently be who you are, and then try to find who fits to you, and that's where your confidence comes in. I think that is the most important quality in a man right now.
Amen.
Amen, brother. I mean, I completely agree about the confidence thing. I think we do also live in a time where gender roles are very confusing. I'm sure we've all seen the Barbie movie, because it's a cinematic masterpiece.
Yes.
And you know the moment where the lead woman who's in Barbie Land, and she starts talking about all the difficulties being a woman due to the paradoxes as being a female, where she's like, you want us to be sexy, but not too sexy. You want us to be strong, but not too strong. You want to be confident, and I feel the exact same applies to men. Well, women want a guy to be masculine and want him to lead, but you don't want to be patronizing. You also need to be really sensitive. You need to be understanding, but you also need to be dominant. And it's kind of this mix of paradoxes constantly for both men and women in relationships. You've got to figure it out between the two of you. It's no longer men are this way, women are this way. You can't just be one way anymore.
JW, you've it all figured out?
Yeah, no, I don't.
Oh.
I don't think anybody has it figured out all the way, because I think right now there's no rules in general. Like, there's no rules. Like, I'm trying to make sense of rules, but I don't really see a lot of rules. So I think everybody should just do whatever they feel like doing and find somebody that agrees with them.
I think one part, both of you agree very much, and here there's that change in what we have right now is that there are so many different roles, but I think exactly to that point, there will be a partner for you, whatever role you pick for yourself, right? So as long as you are transparent, confident, and then also respectful to the other, right? Not trying to change anyone into your role, just being like with the person that fits to you.
And then also knowing what a good fit for you is. Like if you want to be the hero and you want to,
Well, I meant rules, not roles.
Yeah, but I understand.
Rules.
But it's
So
like,
the
but
first-
in that,
okay, so-
it also comes out to your point, right? If you're, I hate this saying, like, you complete me, for example, that, implies that
You
something
use
was
that
broken.
often?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
So, because you need to find,
just
you
hears
need
it
to
a
be
lot.
happy with yourself first, and then you can be happy with somebody else, right? If you haven't really found your role and your persona in life yourself, then it's really hard to find the other part.
I think that's the
partner.
number one rule of dating. Be happy with who you are and yourself, that no one has to complete your life.
Right.
Someone can just add to it.
Sure. Although I think for a lot of people, it's hard to find. I think a good hack for that is like, even if you're not in the best place and you're dating, knowing who is a good fit for you. So if someone is too alpha and that makes you feel bad, then that's not a fit. So I think a lot of people look at the criteria and the people. Like, I want a girl that has this, and this look, and this, and then they're maybe too introverted for the guy. So the guy feels like, oh, I don't want that. And so then maybe you date a girl who's a little more extroverted and you have fun, it doesn't feel heavy. So I think a lot of it is also knowing and experimenting, dating different types of people that you can see like, oh, this is like a great side of me with this person. I can do my own thing and they can do theirs and we meet up and it's not this like heaviness.
But I think that when it comes in, when you're dating a lot, right, which always sounds negative, I think it's very good because you're actually meeting a lot of different people and you find out what's your type and to the point again, if you find out for yourself what you are, who you are, then you're easier to define what is it that you're looking for.
Right, and if you're like inspired and not exhausted by this person or whatever they bring out.
I suddenly thought of a question as you were
great.
saying that. Because this is something that my mother has said to me a bit. No one can tick all your boxes. Do you believe that there are people who can tick all your boxes, or is it just you have a hierarchy of boxes and if this person is ticking the top 5, fantastic?
Enter polyamory.
Yeah.
No, absolutely, I agree. It's the enter polyamory. It's definitely
I
true.
thought that was a German word, I didn't know.
It's definitely true if you, living with another person is also always living with compromises, right? So they might not fill or check all the boxes, so you're going for the most important ones for you, right? And then something is like off, this might be fixed over time or it doesn't, right? Yeah. But do you assume that one person, quote unquote, can be perfect? There's no perfect person.
No. I would also like to share a family secret that my grandma taught me. She told me a long time ago, never give away the milk before they buy the cow. What do you guys think about that?
Oh, I have a very
modern day, present day.
So if we're referring to your body, right, as a woman specifically,
Yeah, I think so.
if you set the tone, if this is your currency, and this is also maybe not a very popular statement here, but this is my position on this, depending obviously on how you do it. So I'm generalizing here completely. Sure. But if your currency is your body and you're handling this as a currency, so I only give it to you if I give something and get something in return. There's a profession for that, which is called a hooker, right? So if you get paid and then you give sex, then that's not a really long term.
She meant it that way, but I know where you're going.
Well, yeah.
Yes,
So this
does the milk mean your body? Or was it more
means like save yourself for
person?
marriage.
Shit. Okay, then I'm
Well,
totally
milk
misunderstood
is
what
it
you meant.
does. Well, I think it's like part of it, but it
Grandma's
wasn't.
a dirty lady.
What did she
That
do
was
for
Shirley, I'm sorry.
What did you do?
So she was really meaning no sex before marriage?
I think it was in the literal
Or
sense,
no,
sure.
or just like don't give too much of yourself away
Yeah,
before
and
you
that was
know that
probably-
person is really invested.
Yeah, it was probably part of that.
But was she talking about sex?
Now I'm confused. I mean, I think it was part of it. I think that age-old quote is definitely sex.
Anyone
before
ever asked what
marriage.
that means?
I think it's sex before marriage, for sure.
I think if we take it on an emotional level, I think it's a good thing not to not to get too overly emotionally invested unless you know that that other person is emotionally invested as well. Because that's the thing, where ultimately people come to blows, where people feel hard done by or people feel screwed over.
And on that note, if you are, so if it's really sex, if you're holding back, right, this is a personal opinion. I could not live with a person long term if the sex is not good. So finding that out, right, if the kissing is not good, if the sex is not good, finding that out is important. And I mean, having sex with a woman early is it's also in her interest, because otherwise, if we're dating for a month or so and we hadn't had sex and then we find out we are not compatible, then we need to break it up.
Yeah, if you guys aren't talented, I mean, that's also a problem.
Yeah, I agree. So sex on the first date is definitely needed to figure that out. So we can then
What
put
about,
that
like,
away.
second, third?
Do you know what? It's just so you don't waste any time.
Yeah.
you know?
Efficient dating.
Very
He's
important.
talking about efficiency.
Efficient.
JW, are you like the romantic? You wait until you say the L word?
Case by case situation.
Okay.
It's always, in my opinion, honestly, like I said, nowadays.
He's actually from Switzerland.
Nowadays, in my opinion, like everybody has to know for themselves.
We are gonna start our next segment here and last segment. Don't be sad. We're coming to the end of your mailroom visit. This segment is called Just the Tip. So I'm gonna have you guys go around and give your one tip to all the ladies of the world.
Okay, so what drives me nuts, majority of the women that I know, but this is also true for men, is asking, for example, a friend of yours, look at this text, so how should I answer? What should I say? What should I do? Say whatever you feel you should say, because if you're not, then you're just like, what is it, Cyril knowing it? So basically you're putting on a mask and you're pretending to be something that you're not. Sure. Be the person who you are. Be transparent, be yourself. That's the only way it goes for long term, because otherwise the other person will find out anyways. Right? And so if you're looking for actually dating somebody, that person should know you from the beginning, and it might not work out, but that's good. So be transparent, that's my tip.
Yeah, on that, if you're texting a girl early days, just be aware you're basically texting a girl group chat. Because I've seen this firsthand for girls, friends of mine, and it is terrifying. Watching 6 girls at a bar composing a message to a guy that one of them is dating.
Dick pic will be seen in the entire restaurant.
Yeah, never show the face. Never show the face. Okay, my piece of advice, it would kind of be something that we touched on. If you are single and you want to be in a relationship, don't focus on that relationship or being in a relationship or finding the person make you happy. Be happy, and then that makes you so much more attractive. Be in a position where you don't need a relationship to be happy, and people will flock towards you. Whereas I feel too many people are so focused on, I need a relationship in order to be happy. Go and find that happiness, and a relationship will come your way.
Take us home, JW.
Okay, so, very easy. In my opinion, the best advice I can give to anybody is that people know your value, but they might act like they don't.
Okay.
Interesting.
Can we go a little bit deeper into this?
Yeah.
Give an example.
Yeah.
That's it?
Let's
No.
scratch beneath
People
that
always know your
surface.
value. I mean, it's like when they just might act like they don't, in text messages and stuff like that.
Okay.
So that's it. It's very simple. You can think about it. You make out of it what you want to make out of it.
As equally as women are attracted to confident men, men are attracted to confident females.
Okay, last one.
One more.
Yeah.
One more.
Go.
Don't fall for the hot red flag scale. So the hotter someone is, the more red flags you will ignore because you're so physically attracted to them.
Right.
And ultimately, that's a bad thing.
All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us in the mailroom. Ladies, we have a lot more mail to go through next time. See you then. Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you, guys.